Born to Shine is India's first scholarship event for girl child prodigies in the field of art and culture. It is a flagship CSR program where we work towards providing encouragement and growth opportunities to the girl child prodigies. We want to make sure that the talent of these girls does not go unnoticed. These prodigies have the capability of representing our culture on global stage if they are rightly identified, nurtured and honed with proper guidance. So, Born to Shine brings to you the Knowledge series, where we will be talking to experts from various fields of Indian art and culture. These experts will be sharing their exceptional knowledge of Indian art and sharing their guidance with our child prodigies. With this series, we are sure to answer a lot of your queries about who is a prodigy, how to identify a prodigy, and most importantly, how to nurture a prodigy into shaping them to be the stars that they are.
So we have a lot of opportunities in the cities. So how do we tap talent in underprivileged areas?
So, since I said that 3 to 10% of children with high ability are across the child population. So, whether it is rural, underprivileged, everywhere there are children. But how does one tap? So, what we normally do, we have an underprivileged school and we have identified children with high ability even in that school.
Wonderful.
And what we have done is we have created this buddy system.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we have 3 rural schools where we conducted training for teachers to be aware of the
Very
character.
similar like the urban schools.
Yeah, similar to that. So now at present we are creating a gifted center there.
That's nice.
I was telling you about the technically assisted program. So we are forming a technically assisted program so that we are able to help our rural
Children
teachers to understand how to identify these children, and so that we are able to help those children also.
So I think underprivileged mainly they need to have opportunities like the cities. They should have mentors who can reach out to them. And today with the kind of technology that we have, I'm sure sitting in cities, people can still reach out to rural areas. So we can definitely work towards tapping talent even there.
So far what has happened, what we have, our observation and experience has been that in the rural and underprivileged, the parents are not equipped to handle and support the gift of the child. So a lot of responsibility remains with the teachers. So whereas in the urban schools, the parent also supports the child. So there is support from both the sides. But in an underprivileged setup and in rural setup, this may be a little one-sided.
They also need a lot of funds and sponsorship, I think.
Funds, sponsorship, more mentors.
Mentors.
From outside.
Who can go and be there in their space.
Yes. Yeah. Now these children experience some loneliness because they are very, very sensitive. So as a psychologist, would you be able to throw some light on that?
When you have children with such intensity, basically, you find that they also feel very lonely. Mainly because their peers are talking about regular things, like be it cricket, movies and books. And these children will be talking about pursuing without getting any distraction, getting into performances at a very early age. They can't make friends easily. They are not able to connect with others because they find that others don't understand them. So then they feel very left out and very lonely as well. And that is a lot of concern for parents, because how do you really motivate children when they feel like that? What do you do in schools that could help and support them and motivate them?
So this mental age and physical age, the difference between in high ability, we observe that.
Okay.
So what we do is many a time we have the older children
mentor and peer mentors.
Yeah, mentor the younger children, so that we are able to have this sort of mix in grades and responsibilities. So this is a very important issue, and also we have developed a system called katta.
Okay.
And in this katta, we have children coming to this space, this gifted space, wherein they are able to come and talk to one another, and they are able to take up projects with one another.
So having a niche space where children of like-minded can be together. So in a classroom, you would be meeting other children who can be very insensitive at times towards these children. But when they are within their own groups, they do much better. Is that what I hear you say?
Yes.
And I think katta seems like a beautiful idea.
Concept.
In a school itself, if they can go and have their own space and do psychologists and all of them also support them at such times?
Yes. So they are able to create that space so that the child is engaged in a very, very non-threatening space. So here we find that these children really flourish.
Okay.
So schools need to develop this space, which we call katta, and we at the center we already have that. So whether it is underprivileged or whether it is urban privileged children, creating this space will help in nurturing the talent and gift in children.
So when you talked about nurturing, and what exactly do you do?
See, nurturing is all about, dealing with the child's sensitivity and seeing that they are able to cope with their coping strategies. We help them, and also their thinking skills. We sharpen their thinking skills through inquiry, through critical thinking. So we have developed these modules for the children so that they are all engaged, and they are like, it's like sharpening the saw, the knife. You sharpen by giving them activities which are all based on these. And of course, mentorship is.
You were talking about the katta, and I remember sitting with my team and talking, because these children would often come and complain that they're very bored in the class sometimes, because what the teachers are teaching sometimes is not up to what they would learn. They want to learn something more advanced, and they get very restless. That's when the idea of katta really came about. And it's a beautiful thing because we associate katta with adults, cutting chai and having a conversation. So I was thinking, why can't it be for our children as well? Because if the child is intelligent, he doesn't want to be in a class, he should have the privilege to come out and do something that is meaningful and engaging for himself. So creating this katta is really a very interesting concept.
And I think even making a choice, being responsible for the choice he makes. If he's missing a class, then how does he make up for that class? So this is added responsibility along with the choice.
That's right. I see very often now children are getting very influenced by the Western culture, because it's all over. You have social media, you have the television which is taken over, and how do we really go about helping them to also look into our Indian culture and heritage? What is Kaveri Gifted Education really does as far as sustaining and building up our culture, when there's so much of a strong influence of the Western culture in children?
So with regards, see, Western culture is there because of technology. You are able to experience.
That's right.
And there is fast food and everything fast happening. But we at the Kaveri Gifted, we are looking at how do you make the child experience things really slowly and mindfully. So we have a lot of sloka recitation and many spiritual practices that we see that our children undergo. And we also, through the Panchakosha module, the first base is the Annamaya Kosha. So even we have the child experience the food that the child eats. So we have Ayurveda, we have the children experiencing making and eating the right food, which will help the child in developing his body, thereby his inner growth. And we take the child through activities which leads him towards volunteerism. service, empathy, compassion. So these are certain tracks which we have created, and the child is taken through these in our activities. It is all designed in our activities. And for us, what has happened is at the Kaveri group of institutes, art forms are very important. So we have established.
I think personally you enjoy a lot of art forms and
Yes.
constantly bring in a lot of artists to the center as well.
Yeah. So all our enhanced learning activities, we have said that it has to be based on art and sports.
Wonderful.
Because what has happened is our Indian art forms, I feel, are the best. And they are going to be, whether a child is high ability or no, less ability, art forms are going to be stress busters.
Yes.
So at the Kaveri group of institutes, we have said every child who leaves KGI should have one art form, personal art form, and one sports, personal, individual sports in the profile of every child. So this is the emphasis we have given to all our schools, and they are working towards it. And of course, some of them even have Western art forms also. So we said, okay, it's okay. Because what happens is art forms leads child towards concentration and spiritual growth. So it needn't be just Western. But since in India we have so many art forms, we felt that there is a panorama of art forms. So let us avail of this wealth that we have, and we have introduced that in the Kaveri group of institutes.
So our initiative at Bornshine is for girl prodigies. What is the difficulties a girl child faces when they have a talent? What are your thoughts on that?
See, especially in India, the issue of the girl child, we have seen that we are a patriarchal society and boys are given priority for everything. And girls have been sort of not exposed to so many areas. And the girl child, first of all, education itself
Is a privilege.
is a privilege for a girl child. Not so much in the urban spaces, but in the rural and in the underprivileged. So getting the girl child on board is a big issue for India. It's a national issue. So I think a lot of efforts is being made by the government, several governments, in helping the girl child rise and shine. I have one example of an underprivileged girl child who was very good in computer technology. She had two other brothers. The two brothers were not willing to have her continue with her education. And at that time, it was a mentor who fought for her and who was able to see that this child benefited. And today this child, underprivileged child, is a very important earning member in her family. She's gone to Hyderabad.
Wow.
And she's earning for her family. But all because of the mentor, not because of the family. So here, when it comes to art to be really developed and treated as a profession is
There are
very...
a lot of struggles, I think.
Lot of struggle. First of all, in the science field, we do not have women.
We have more
We have
men.
more male scientists. So with regards to art and with regards to fine arts, performing arts, this community of the girl child, they need a lot of support, because as it is in the space of education, they lack and they need encouragement. We need to uplift them. And with regards to performing arts, when they are very small, people encourage. But when they grow big, marriage, raising a family, taking care of elders, all are the responsibility.
Priority more than
priority.
their own talent and gift.
So then the talent gets sidelined. So society has to understand and support the girl child, whether it's especially our Indian society. Unless we are able to, our boys, our men are able to help our girl child and our women and treat them as equals, I feel that this struggle is going to remain. So I think as a society, we need to understand. So there has to be a lot of awareness program right in schools.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning. That okay, if a girl is born and after reaching a certain age, to get bread from a shop, you send a girl also to get bread along with a boy. So it's not only the responsibility of a boy. So I think such changes has to be made in society for us to be really able to help the girl child.
So another interesting question when you're talking about girl child is, should we treat gifted students and non-gifted students equally or neutrally?
I love this question because I believe in inclusion. So we believe that every child is good. Every child is different. Every child is unique. Every child is special.
Wow.
And every child has potential.
Okay.
So this potential will vary
from child to child.
From child to child. So it is the responsibility of every school to be able to identify that potential. The degree of potentiality may be different. A child with less ability may have less potential, but you should not label that child as less ability, because for me, self-esteem, self-confidence is what is more important.
That will take the child forward.
In a society, in a nation. So value system is what we need to work upon, whether it is a child with high ability or a child with less ability. Once we work on the value systems, I think India and the world will be a better place to live in, because I dream of a country which is filled with peace, harmony, innovation and creativity.
So we have been talking so much about gifted kids. I'm wondering, what do normal kids feel when so much attention is given to gifted kids in school? How do they deal with it?
See, what I feel is the gifted children, you don't sort of do exclusive programs for them. You can have after school activities wherein the children don't know about such activities. That is one. And what we have done is, many a time we have opened the activity to all kids. And we observe the children who are identified as gifted in our own ways. We have ways of identifying what they are doing. Our observations are different. So exclusivity is not something which we believe in. Inclusive education of the gifted is what we propose and we have been doing.
I've actually noticed, many a times where children, the gifted kids say that my friends feel very bad. And so, like for example, when they're coming to Katta, I am able to walk out of the class and enjoy leisure time or do something which I like. My friends don't feel. So I feel that sensitivity is both ways also. If a gifted child feels for his normal friend, the normal children should also feel that, okay, these kids have something that they want to enjoy and they should be also allowed. So like you rightly said, building awareness and not giving too much of bhav to one, but giving a sense of equal. You get something, the other one also gets something. That really, I kind of think, helps.
This is an interesting suggestion. And I think schools need to create spaces for children, even those children who are not gifted, to be having this freedom.
Yes.
So this is my next step which I plan to take, that when children are going towards Katta, can we look at other children who want to express their feelings towards being somewhere else? I think this freedom should be given in a school system, because we talk about democracy, and that way, I think a little freedom of choice
should be
there, even for children who are not gifted, along with the gifted. Then it will not be so obvious that they are two separate.
So the other thing that came to my mind is that normal schools, should they also be having teachers who can deal with children with talent and gifted?
Definitely, because unless we have the teachers trained to deal with the gifted, how do you
cater to this population. Basically.
support a gifted child. First of all, you need teachers, and more so, we have realized that even amongst the teachers,
They will be gifted.
they are
teachers.
gifted too. They are
Yeah.
gifted adults, and many a time these gifted adults will have socio-emotional issues to deal with. So
But they also make very good teachers.
They make
because they bring in a lot of creativity. They challenge students very differently than normal teachers do.
they have high level of creativity, and they are able to understand these children better.
Yeah.
But unless we start these conversations with them, they don't know that they are capable of doing
this.
And we have seen that there might be 50 teachers in a school setup, but out of that there will be only about maybe 4 or 5 who are actually able to understand what is giftedness. The others will just do their job,
Yeah, which is being told to them.
which is being
basically.
told. Actual gifted adults in the teaching community will be actually able to help the children, gifted children. So these children can sit with them, form small circles, able to talk to them about
We
what
also
they think.
find that they bond better with such teachers.
Yeah. And they are very popular with such teachers.
Yeah, that's
Such
true.
teachers are very popular
Popular.
with the children.
So, coming back to Born to Shine, which is a wonderful initiative started with Give India. And what are your thoughts? How could we reach out to the gifted kids in India, especially for the girl prodigies?
So, Born to Shine, I feel, is a very interesting and very creative initiative. And I think this program is a small seed for the future of India, especially in the art space. Because what has happened is, Born to Shine is talking about talent in the performing arts.
That's true.
And this talent in the performing arts, especially with the underprivileged and the rural sector, is going to be creating a real change in reaching out to talent in every corner of India. Because we have seen that today there are many shows which happen, and these shows are able to showcase
Talent very well.
But then, especially the girl child,
I think that's the uniqueness of this particular, Born to Shine event, because sustaining, reinforcing our Indian culture and heritage, bringing in girl child, showcasing talent. I think it's so beautifully put, all of that together.
yeah. And this talent, showcasing that talent and taking the child,
By giving them a scholarship for a few years.
and for a long time, imagine 30 girls across India, you are going to help them from 5 to 15 years age group, and they are able to develop their talent and nurture their talent, and we are able to support them, because these children, one is talent. I look at it as 2 dimensions. One is talent development, and the other is the development of the self, socio-emotional development of the child. When both go hand in hand, you have a holistic development of the child who will be able to create wonders for India in the space of art. So I'm very happy that Z Entertainment and Give India have come up, have launched this project, and I'm sure that this is just a beginning, and we will definitely be able to, as Kaveri Gifted Education and Research Center, we love this idea, because this is some space that many people don't understand. They understand maths and science,
But bringing talent to the forefront is a wonderful
but
thing.
developing talent in the performance space is something which people sideline it, do not think that it is important. But here, this unimportant space has been given prominence, is something that I feel very happy about, because along with STEM, we need to even
Showcase Indian
show
talent.
Indian
basically.
talent. And once this is done, I'm sure India is going to be a great country.
Thank you so much. I hope you loved and enjoyed this episode and got to know more about Kaveri Gifted Education Center in Pune. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to to Born to Shine YouTube channel and look for more such videos.